Higher wisdom and guidance to live your dream life. This is the Mandy Curry Podcast. Welcome back to episode 4. So, in today's podcast, we are talking about how to handle a situation when you hear someone give advice or share a belief that you don't agree with at all. And this channel guidance was prompted by a personal experience. And I had a personal experience very recently where I was driving down the road, and this was so perfectly orchestrated by the universe, if you will. I was driving down the road, there wasn't anything on the radio to listen to, and all of a sudden I see a sign that says Christian radio, and it gives the FM radio station. And I don't even listen to much FM radio, but I said, well, I'm kind of curious about what that's all about. I've never seen it before. I've never even seen that sign, and I pass that direction all the time. So I turned on this Christian radio channel, and it was a group talking about a situation that they had had with their child. And I believe it maybe was an author who was talking about a book that she had written. But the question came up, and the son realized that one of his friends had 2 mothers. And so the discussion came up about same-sex marriage. And the person who was sharing the advice was talking about how they handled it with their child. And their words were something to the tune of, I just explained to my child how sad that it was that mommy was so confused and that wasn't what God intended for our life. God intended for a man and a woman to be together, not for a woman and a woman to be together. And it actually triggered me so bad that I felt like my stomach was hurting. And this feeling went on for a while. I had to turn it off. But I was so triggered by this, and I knew there must be something to this. I knew that there was a lesson or there was some expansion that would have come out of that. It was too divinely lined up for me to hear that. And I certainly didn't share in that belief. And that's where I was struggling is what do we do when we hear someone share a belief that we don't agree with? How do we handle that? And so I'm excited to share with you the guidance that I personally received to help me through this situation. And I hope that it helps you on your journey too. So here we go. Today, let's talk about beliefs and what is really at the root of beliefs, and specifically what happens when you hear someone else's belief that you believe might not be, certainly isn't your belief, but you also believe that it could be a belief that isn't serving them for their highest and best good. And maybe it's even a belief that is so ingrained in policies or in religion or in doctrines or in society that is so ingrained in society that people so strongly believe in, but you have a different feeling. And it's important to just simply know that it's okay if we all have different beliefs. We're not here to change anyone else's belief. We're not here to change anyone else's beliefs about anything in their life. But remember, when you are listening and when you are observing and when you hear other people's beliefs, it's just a mirror reflection right back to you. It's an opportunity for you to see where your beliefs are. And remember, you're not there to talk anyone out of it. You're not there to change anyone and their beliefs. It's just simply mirroring back to you perhaps something that you feel really strongly about, or your beliefs, or where your beliefs might be different. That's all that it is. And so sometimes you might hear these beliefs and you might think, well, gosh, the world would be such a better place if they simply had different beliefs, if they believed a little different, if they expanded their awareness. And that's not for you. That's not for you to even step into. It is about you. It is about you and your beliefs. And when you hear another belief that doesn't feel like it serves you, it's just a chance for you to ask yourself, well, how is my current belief serving me? And is it serving me from my highest and best good? Is it serving humanity from its highest and best good? That's just simply a chance for you to really reflect your own beliefs and look at them and make sure that they are serving you to their highest. And oftentimes, when we get a little hung up, is when we believe that it's a belief that God has. And that was the trigger point in this situation, is when it was brought up that God wouldn't want this and that God doesn't talk about this in the Bible. And so, more so than even just the belief, was really the trigger of what God would or would not want. And for some, again, it's just simply an opportunity to see about how certain beliefs might be limiting us. And sometimes we can just see this is nothing more than simply gathering data, if you will, information about how strong beliefs are. It's not your role to change them, but you can understand. You can understand them a little deeper. And then you can begin to understand the role that deep beliefs play in culture and how they begin to play out in reality. We can't change them. But just by you having or feeling a different belief, not that it even has to be known to anyone, simply you feeling a different belief about who or what you believe God is, and you living that and you embodying that, that's really what this is all about. That's what this is. It is about you and your beliefs of what God is. We are not there to change anyone else's beliefs, but you can have a different belief that you believe serves you in the highest and best good for the highest and best of humanity. And you can radiate that belief. And perhaps you believe that God is love and that God is inclusive and that God loves everyone and that we are God and that there is a part of us connected to God and that we embody that. You don't have to share that belief with anyone, but that belief of love, that belief of oneness, that belief of inclusion can be felt in everything that you do. And so you simply ask yourself, what is the energy that I want to put out into the world? It's not about right or wrong. It's about what is the energy that I want to put out into the world, into the way that I interact with others, to the way that I engage in relationships. What is the feeling that I want to put out into the world? And your feeling might be unconditional love. And if your feeling is unconditional love, which is love with no strings attached, love without conditions, unconditional love is the highest love of all. It means none of the details matter. If that is the vibe that you want to put out into the world, it will be felt. You don't even have to talk about your beliefs. They will be felt and they will be known. And so simply when we hear those beliefs, it's just a chance for us to really start to, it just is reflecting back to us. It's just reflecting back to us. It's a chance for us to dissect our beliefs. There's nothing wrong with every person having different beliefs. If we all had the same beliefs, probably wouldn't be so much fun in the world. We would all believe the same thing. Not a whole lot of growth and expansion in that. And perhaps at one point in time, you had a similar belief as the person who you heard. And you can begin to see how you have grown and expanded your beliefs and how that has changed your reality and how that has changed the world. That's all this is doing. It's just a reflection back to you. No judgment. There is no judgment ever in what one person believes over another. But you can begin to use these relationships, you can begin to use these conversations as simply just a mirror back to you. You can begin to look at the areas in which you have beliefs and whether they are still the highest and best beliefs for your highest and best good. That is all that comes from this. And then you then have a choice as to how you want to spread that into the world. Remember that a big part of why you are here, the reason that you are here, is for your soul's expansion. And through the differences that we all have that make us all so unique, through all of that, we are able to expand so much. There is so much growth and opportunity and expansion that comes from that, from just knowing that we're all so different, that we're all so unique, that so many of us have different beliefs, and that is just perfect, that it all serves. And it's not our role to change anything. We can observe with discernment, but it's not our role to change anyone. It's not what we're here to do. So it's all okay. And that was all very timely to be a part of your experience and your awareness, because a lot of growth comes out of just the smallest thing. Isn't it amazing how much growth and expansion we can have from simply something that hits our experience, that hits our awareness for 5 minutes? Simply a 5-minute radio snippet can really expand us on our journey. It's really very powerful. There's a lot that comes from something just that small. So it is all good. It all serves. And this is all a part of your soul's expansion.